There's a moment in sports when something shifts. Not the score, not the ranking, not the headline. Something deeper. Something you feel before you can explain it. And if you've been paying attention to women's tennis over the last 2 years, you already know what I'm talking about. Her name is Alex Eala, a 20-year-old from the Philippines who, right now, is doing something that the sport hasn't quite seen before. Not in the way the rankings show it. Not yet, but in every other way that actually matters. She is already one of the biggest stories in tennis. And the crazy part? The institutions that run this sport are only just now catching up to what her fans figured out years ago. So let me take you through this properly, because this isn't just a feel-good underdog story. This is a story about power, about who gets to decide what matters in sport, about what happens when a fan base grows so fast and so fiercely that the people in charge can no longer ignore it. And it starts not in Manila, not in Melbourne, not even on a tennis court. It starts with a number. Before a single serve was hit at the 2026 Australian Open, Alex's pre-tournament press conference had already pulled in 171,000 live viewers online. Let that sit for a second. 171,000 people tuning into a press conference. Not a match, not a highlight reel. A press conference. Carlos Alcaraz, the reigning French Open champion, 2-time Wimbledon winner, arguably the most exciting male player on the planet right now, drew 29,000 viewers for his press conference that same week. Coco Gauff, 29,000. Aryna Sabalenka, the defending Australian Open champion, the woman who had just won the whole tournament, 9,000. Alex, who wasn't even inside the top 40 at the time, had nearly 6 times the audience of the world's #1 male player. For a press conference, that number alone should have told the Australian Open everything it needed to know. It should have changed schedules, reshuffled courts, redirected resources. Because when a player outside the top 40 is pulling that kind of digital crowd before the tournament even begins, you're not dealing with a rising prospect anymore. You're dealing with a phenomenon. And phenomena don't wait for rankings to catch up. The Filipino community in Melbourne alone numbers around 60,000 people. 60,000. That's not a fan base. That's a city within a city. These were people who had been saving up, planning trips, coordinating with family members for weeks leading into that tournament. They weren't just tennis fans. They were Alex fans. There's a difference, and it's an important one. A tennis fan follows the sport. An Alex fan follows her. They wake up at strange hours to check scores. They track her draws on the tournament bracket like it's a personal investment. They fly across countries, sometimes across oceans, just to be in the same arena. And in Melbourne, those people showed up. They showed up in numbers that no one, apparently, had bothered to prepare for. The match was scheduled on Court 6. Not a show court, not one of the feature courts with the proper seating and the big screens. Court 6, with an expected capacity of around 10,000. Now, 10,000 sounds like a lot until you see what happened outside. The line stretched around the entire perimeter of the court. Families who had driven from across the city. Couples who had taken days off work. Fans who had flown in from interstate, some even from abroad. All standing in a queue that wasn't moving fast enough. When the match started, security had to begin clearing the overflow. People who had traveled hours, some of them across the world, were turned away. They couldn't get in. And inside, 10,000 people watched a match that deserved to be seen by 5 times that number. Now here's what makes this story complicated. The Australian Open knew. They had the numbers before the schedule was announced. They had the social media data. They had the viewer statistics. They had the pre-tournament press conference figures. They knew that Alex was the most watched player at their own event before a single ball was struck. They made the scheduling decision anyway. And then, when the fallout came, the official response was this: the scheduling will be a lesson for next year. That was it. That was the full statement from one of the 4 biggest tennis events in the world. And look, you can read that 2 ways. You can read it as an embarrassed institution quietly acknowledging a mistake, or you can read it as the bare minimum response designed to close the conversation without actually committing to anything. Either way, Rome was watching. The entire tennis world was watching. And 3 of the most respected voices in the sport decided they weren't going to stay quiet about it. Martina Navratilova, 18 Grand Slam singles titles, 9 Wimbledon championships, the most decorated female tennis player of her generation, was on air during the Australian Open broadcast when she said it plainly. Organizers need to take a closer look at where the players are coming from and what their fans are really like. She wasn't commentating on a backhand. She wasn't breaking down a tactical pattern. She was making a structural demand of the institutions that run the sport live on television during a Grand Slam broadcast. That doesn't happen by accident. That happens when something has been building for long enough that even the most composed voices in the room can't hold it in anymore. On the same broadcast, Lindsay Davenport, 1999 Wimbledon champion, former world number 1, said that Alex probably needs to be on a bigger show court, that she's recognized as probably the most famous woman from the Philippines, one of the most famous people to ever come from there in the world of sport. And then over on BBC Radio 5 Live, Andre Agassi's longtime peer and Great Britain's Billie Jean King Cup captain said simply, "I can't believe the line. Who is on the scheduling team? 3 voices, 3 separate platforms. 1 verdict. The scheduling was wrong." And the people who built their careers in this sport, who understand its rhythms and its politics better than almost anyone, said so publicly and on record, that matters. That's not social media noise. That's the sport's own establishment pushing back on itself. Now let me tell you about the fan who flew from Sydney. Her name is V, and she's a Filipina living in Australia. For Alex's first round match at the 2026 Australian Open, she booked a flight from Sydney to Melbourne, not for the tournament, not for a weekend away, specifically for that match. 1 match, 1 player. She stood in that line. She talked about Alex with a kind of pride that's hard to put into words. The way she described it, watching Alex compete feels like watching someone carry an entire country's hope onto a court. That Alex is becoming a national hero. That people across the Philippines are stopping whatever they're doing the moment her match begins. That she dominates sports news in a country of over 100 million people. Now multiply that. Multiply V's trip by the thousands of others who made similar journeys to Melbourne. And then watch what that community did when Rome came around. Because that's where this story takes a turn. Madrid came first, and it was rough. April 24th, 2026. Alex lost to Elise Mertens at the Mutua Madrid Open in under an hour. 57 minutes. It wasn't close. It was her 3rd consecutive loss on clay that season, and it dropped her back down from her career high of 29th in the world, reached just weeks earlier in March to around 40th. No dramatic comeback, no inspiring 3rd set, just a clean, clinical loss to a more experienced opponent on a surface that hasn't been kind to her. After a match like that, players have choices. You can take the easier path. The WTA 125 circuit exists for exactly those moments. Smaller draws, lighter competition, a chance to recover some confidence and collect some ranking points without the pressure of a big stage. A lot of players would have taken that option. Alex looked at the Catalonia Open, a WTA 125 event that was right there on the calendar, and she passed on it. She skipped it entirely. Instead, she pointed everything at Rome. The Italian Open, the Foro Italico, one of the most historic tennis venues on the planet, lined with marble statues, steeped in 91 years of tradition. A tournament where she had lost in the first round the year before, meaning she had next to nothing to defend. Every single win, there would be pure ranking gain. But more than that, every single match there would be played in front of the kind of crowd that was already forming outside the venue before the main draw had even begun. Because they came again. They always come. Confirmed videos and reports from Rome showed thousands of Filipino fans gathering outside the Foro Italico before the tournament had officially started. Alex was filmed thanking fans who had made the trip all the way to Italy, some of them coming purely for her. Ticket demand shot up. The atmosphere inside the courts when she played had a different energy to it. Tournament directors started talking about her the way they once talked about Li Na. If you don't know that name, here's why it matters. Li Na won the French Open in 2011. One player, one title, one cultural moment. And overnight, the entire Chinese tennis market opened up. The WTA's revenue from China, the sponsorship deals, the broadcast rights, the attendance, all of it transformed permanently, because sport has this incredible commercial alchemy where one player from the right place at the right time can unlock an entire region's worth of engagement. The Southeast Asian diaspora is not a niche market. It is one of the largest and most connected communities in the world. Filipino communities exist in Melbourne, in Los Angeles, in London, in Dubai, in Riyadh, in Hong Kong, in every major city on earth. And right now, a significant portion of that diaspora is pointing its attention at women's tennis because of one 20-year-old who refuses to take the easy route. Greg Rusedski, former US Open finalist, put it well after Madrid. He said losing is part of the learning experience for her, that she's a very easy player to like, that she'll learn from it, that what he appreciates is her resilience. And that's the thing about Alex that her fans understood before the rankings or the institutions did. It was never about perfection. It was about the way she competes, the way she carries herself on court, the way she keeps showing up on the big stages, even when the easier option is right there in front of her. Madrid loss, skip the smaller tournament, go straight to Rome. That decision alone tells you something about how she sees herself and where she's headed. The Foro Italico is one of the most beautiful and most serious tennis venues in the world. The Italian Tennis and Padel Federation President Angelo Bonaghi has been openly pushing for Rome to be recognized as a fifth Grand Slam. That is an enormous ambition, and achieving it requires more than great courts and big prize money. It requires global visibility. It requires the kind of moment where people from every corner of the world are tuning in to see what happens in Rome on a Tuesday afternoon. Alex gives them that. And now, what's coming next is a sequence that the entire tennis world is going to be watching very closely. Roland Garros, the French Open, where Alex is currently ranked 23rd in the draw going into 2026. Then Eastbourne, where she was a finalist just last year. Then, eventually, the 2027 Australian Open, the tournament that publicly said the scheduling would be a lesson. That is the moment of reckoning. That is when we find out whether the promise meant anything. Because here's the thing about all of this. None of it is actually about whether Alex wins or loses. Obviously, winning matters. Rankings matter. Titles matter. But the story that's unfolding right now is bigger than any single result. It's about what the sport does with what's right in front of it. It's about whether tennis is smart enough to recognize that a player can be a global commercial and cultural force before she's won a major. It's about whether the institutions that have run this sport for decades are capable of seeing a future that looks different from the past. The fans who followed Alex from the beginning, the ones who were watching matches on unreliable streams before she had a ranking worth talking about, the ones who were filling group chats with scores at 3 a.m, they were not being naive. They were not chasing a fantasy. They were watching something real take shape, and they recognized it before anyone with a scheduling spreadsheet did. That's what Melbourne exposed. Not just a logistical failure, a failure of imagination, a failure to understand that the next great wave of tennis fans doesn't look like the last one. It comes from a different place. It speaks a different language. It wakes up at different hours to watch. And it is already here. Rome has the chance to write the next chapter of this story differently. The question is whether the people making the decisions are finally paying the kind of attention that the fans have been paying all along. Because Alex isn't waiting for anyone's permission. She skipped the easy tournament. She walked into Rome with something to prove. And the people who were never wrong about her are already watching.